H. At a railway station in a city, there once lived a beggar. He survived by begging from passengers who traveled in trains that came and went. One day, as he was asking for alms, he saw a tall man wearing a suit. The beggar thought, "This man looks very rich. If I ask him, he will surely give me good money." So he went to the tall man and begged. The tall man looked at him and said, "You are always asking. But do you ever give anything to anyone?" The beggar replied, "Sir, I am just a beggar. I always ask from others. How can I possibly give anything to anyone?" The tall man responded, "If you cannot give, then you have no right to ask. I am a businessman, and I believe only in give and take. If you have something to give me, then only can I give you in return." Saying this, he boarded the train and left. The beggar kept thinking about his words. They sank deep into his heart. He thought, perhaps I don't get enough because I never give anything in return. But what can I give? I am just a beggar. How long will I keep asking without ever giving? After much thought, the beggar decided, from now on, whoever gives me alms, I will also give them something in return. But then a question troubled his mind. What can a beggar like me possibly give in return? 2 days passed without an answer. On the third day, as he sat near the station, his eyes fell upon flowers blooming on plants nearby. An idea struck him. Why don't I give flowers to those who give me alms? He liked this thought. He plucked some flowers, and when he went to beg on the train again, whenever someone gave him alms, he gave them flowers in return. People accepted them happily and kept them with joy. From that day, every morning he plucked flowers, and in exchange for alms, he distributed them. Soon, he realized something surprising. Now, far more people gave him alms. As long as he had flowers, people gave generously. But when the flowers ran out, the money also stopped. This continued day after day. One day, while begging with flowers, he again saw that same tall man sitting on the train, the very man who had inspired him. Excitedly, the beggar approached and said, "Today I have something to give you. If you give me alms, I will give you flowers in return." The tall man gave him money, and in return the beggar offered flowers. The man smiled and said, "Wonderful. Today you are no longer a beggar, you are a businessman." Those words once again pierced the beggar's heart. He thought deeply, and his eyes began to shine. "I am not a beggar, I am a businessman. I too can become rich," he shouted joyfully, looking toward the sky. People nearby thought he had gone mad, but from the next day onward, that beggar was never seen at the station again. 6 months later, 2 well-dressed men in suits were traveling on the same station platform. They looked at each other, shook hands, and one asked, "Do you recognize me?" The other replied, "No, I don't think so. We seem to be meeting for the first time." The first man smiled and said, "No, this is our 3rd meeting." The other looked puzzled. "I don't recall. When were the first 2 times?" The man replied with a smile, "Both times were also on this train. I am that beggar, the one to whom you once said what I should do in life, and the one to whom you later said who I really am." The second man, surprised, said, "Oh yes, I remember now. You were the beggar I once refused to give alms, and later I bought flowers from you. But today you are in a suit. Where are you going, and what are you doing now?" The first man proudly said, "Yes, I was that beggar. But now I am a successful flower merchant. Today I am traveling for my business." After pausing for a moment, he added, "In our first meeting, you told me nature's law, that we only receive when we give. That rule of give and take truly works. I experienced it myself. But back then, I still thought of myself only as a beggar. It was during our second meeting that you made me realize I was no longer a beggar. I had become a trader. That is when I understood the truth. People were not giving me charity, they were paying for my flowers. In their eyes, I was a small businessman, but in my own eyes I was still just a beggar. Your words lifted me beyond that. I began to see myself as a businessman. With the money I earned, I bought more flowers, and slowly I became a flower trader. People love flowers, and their love has made me a very big flower merchant today. T.